so much for taking your time to join us live right here. This is www.techmake.tv. My name is Tony and I've been a bit too rusty. I'm so much excited to be live back right here. This is This Morning News, where today I'm joined by these two fresh, new and beautiful ladies. On my right,
Raquel Kambasha is the name.
And I am Chikondi Mandala.
and of course, today I'm going to be giving you a rundown of today's leading news as far as the news headlines are concerned, both on our social media, websites, internet, and also the traditional newspapers. I'll start off straight from you, Rasha. What do you have for us?
Okay, so from the news day today, we've got a story making the headline. That is, don't come to Zim. That's ED tells visitors from COVID-19 hotspots. To delve more into detail, President Emerson Mnangagwa yesterday told travelers from coronavirus hotspots to stay away from Zimbabwe for a month and cancelled independence celebrations and the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair as part of measures to prevent the outbreak of the disease.
Interesting there. All international visitors, or specifically those that we always thought that the ones who are actually bringing in this disease. And I know we have been trying to protect China as far as this issue is concerned, but it looks like finally we are not doing something.
The only problem is China was the main hotspot,
Yeah.
but we still had visitors coming in from China. And I don't know how far. Yes, unchecked.
Yeah. And also there is news doing around that Victoria Falls has got many people there that actually haven't been tested because the doctors there in Victoria Falls are allegedly say that they are not yet prepared, neither are they ready to actually test and verify whether or not this guy is actually infected. Chikondi?
And in other news, our main headline today in the Daily News reads, Government bans large public meetings as authorities finally move on coronavirus pandemic. Emerson Mnangagwa, pictured yesterday, introduced a raft of measures aimed at mitigating the effects of the deadly coronavirus pandemic that is wreaking havoc around the world, the Daily News reports. Among the tough measures that he took were the immediate ban on all public gatherings of more than 100 people for the next 60 days, which includes churches and weddings, in addition to cancelling planned celebrations for the country's 40th independence anniversary, stated for next month.
Interesting times ahead there. I think for me, that means no more church. I don't know if it's going to be an excuse for many people, but I don't know how our church leaders are going to be able to take this. Are we going to be spiritual about this? Are we going to be prayed over Corona? Or what? I don't know how this is going to go to many people and what you're going to be thinking about this. And of course, I think the biggest event, if you ask me, the biggest event to government, I think they should be excited at cancelling the Independence Day for reasons best known to me and themselves. I don't think they wanted this headache. I don't know if your thoughts on this.
That is
true.
Problem. But the question is that after cancelling all these other, saying no more than 100 people gatherings, but schools are still open. Should we then not worry?
That's a gathering already.
Yes, and there's some government schools with over 1,000 children and classes with more than 60 children. Should they not be closed as well?
Yeah,
I'll give you one closest to home. A fun fact. My church has 50 people, but a Zupco bus is like 100 people. So where exactly are we going with this?
It's got 50 people.
It's just got 50 people. So are you going to ban my church? Yes, just 50 people.
Your whole church has got 50 people.
My whole church.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a church with 50 people. Like cell group.
There's no limit to how many people can be in a church. Yes, just 50. What if we're failing you?
Our church has got 50. No, I'm just saying, but I've just received information that 50.
Let's just say it's a new church.
I think I like your tech for. I'll come back to you. I like the whole idea of schools also being okay. So let's just say it's going to be. I think in the next few weeks, past 2 weeks actually, it's been like parents visiting day, right? So how do we make sure that parents coming outside from wherever they're coming from, they're not bringing the coronavirus to our kids who are at boarding schools and various places there? So I think maybe also we should have heard from the Minister of Education saying that each and every school should be given a corona testing case, so that for anyone who's coming in, because already a school is a quarantine. If I'm to defend, right? So there's no need for us to panic because they're already closed out. But are they really closed out from the community and possible people are coming in and out? So I think there has to be a certain system then that we have to devise and put through across all institutions to say, if there's going to be a visitor or any outsider to come through with this, within these institutions, we should have a form of testing so that at least we protect our children, specifically those who are at boarding schools, from the coronavirus. I'll give it back to you, lady who comes from a church with 50 people.
I'm not going to hear the end of it, am I?
Are you a pastor then?
No, I'm not.
Do you pay offerings?
I'm coming to your church.
Do you know what?
Why would you
I need to see this. I need proof.
Okay.
I will move on to the next one. I'll leave you
Are you
guys.
pastor's
Leave
wife?
my church. Not yet.
How much offering do you guys need?
Not yet. Not yet.
Oh, you're in the lineup.
You never know. You never know.
I hope the pastor's wife is listening right now. I will take this one.
Okay. In the next headline, we've got U.S. ambassador fingered in bribery storm. The ZANU-PF aligned a broad alliance against sanctions yesterday told Parliament that the United States ambassador to Zimbabwe, Brian Nichols, tried to bribe them with cars and houses so that they take their anti-sanctions protest to President Emerson Mnangagwa's doorstep. Kelvin Chitsunge, co-founder and chairperson of the group that has been camped at the U.S. Embassy in Harare since March 29 last year, claimed that Nichols tried to bribe them so that they take their sanctions to protests to State House and Africa Unity Square.
What does that benefit the whole U.S. ambassador to bribe ZANU-PF people to protest that? Now I'm just looking at the logic. Why would they be interested in having such a move besides an allegation that people are actually raising? I don't know. I'm trying to process this. You know when I process things and quickly say 000, it's zero. It's supposed to be a 1010. My bad, I process, but it's 000. I don't know.
I think what's worrying as well is the fact that Chitunge also said that he wanted to give them houses and vehicles worth $110,000 US each.
What houses in Zimbabwe that is giving away?
That's a good question. But
Let's look at the logic.
and cars, not just houses, and cars worth $110,000
And they said no.
each. And they said no.
They actually said no.
He said they said
ZANU-PF supporters said
no to houses and cars. I think that should have been headline.
Yes.
To me, that would have been headline. They said no.
Chitunge's defense was we've got 15
Can I
million
join these
people
guys?
suffering. So
I'll
you want to
join
go and
You
say
want to
yes?
Yes, then I'm just saying, can I just...
You're already seeing yourself in a Mercedes E350.
And
I'll never say no. I'm just trying to say, who would have said no to that? And honestly
I
speaking.
would have.
Oh,
Really?
over to you then.
Reform or die, UK warns Zim. The United Kingdom will not bail out Zimbabwe until President Emerson Mnangagwa's government embarks on comprehensive political and economic reforms, the Daily News reports. This comes as Zimbabwe's re-engagement efforts with the Western powers appear to have hit a brick wall after the United States of America, the European Union, and the UK recently renewed their targeted sanctions against the country. It also comes after some British parliamentaries pleaded with their government last week to soften its hardline stance against Harare and bail it out of financial rescue package, given the magnitude of the economic crisis facing the country.
That was a mouthful there.
Reform or die. But I think this has been the strongest points that Emerson Mnangagwa has been driving since he came in government. He promised Zimbabweans reform. He said he's a reformist. He was known to be a reformist. And I think top of the reforms, because let's not just throw around this word. I think we're speaking of political reforms, we're speaking of electoral reforms, and also speaking of security reforms. Those are the top three reforms that everyone else has been trying to push and encourage the government to be running along. I think one of the reforms that we thought we were now having was the media reform, where we had the IPA, Access to Information Protection Act. And I thought there was traction, there was movement, and it was sailing through our cabinet, right? It is not yet a law. And also POSA has been repealed with, what do you call it now? LOMA, right? Yeah, POSA has been repealed and being replaced by LOMA. That was a bit of traction as far as the media reform has been concerned. But still up until now, those laws are not yet passed. And LOMA and POSA is just becoming LOMA, given it a less masculine pronunciation. So there hasn't been much of any difference, except that Loma sounds a bit sexier than Posa. Forgive my French, but I'm not seeing any difference there between the Loma and the Posa. But we need to have this reform so that at least we align all our laws with the Constitution. I don't know any checkers on that.
I think the main issue is the fact that we've got all these reforms. Clearly, it seems like there comes one reform which leads to a problem, then we create another reform to curb the other problem, which then creates another problem. So at the end of the day, I feel that all that the UK is trying to tell Zimbabwe is we need a clear roadmap. Let's do things that way. You know, instead of going from one problem to another to now we've got a whole salad of problems.
That's a full dish there.
It's a full dish.
But I think the easiest thing that they should have done is to make sure that, I think we have a very beautiful constitution, a constitution that was consulted and every Zimbabwean said yes, but right now we are busy trying to reform and change the constitution, which is doing things wrongly. What we should be doing is we should be making sure that our laws that we're actually having right now in Zimbabwe align with the constitution instead of making the constitution align with certain political agenda. That has been the biggest problem.
There you are.
So yeah, I think that's what needs to be fixed right now, and then we need to address it as it is. Back to you.
All right, and in the news day today, we've also got the teachers. They give ED ultimatum to fire Mtuli. The main news reads, the Amalgamated Rural Teachers Union of Zimbabwe, ARTES, has petitioned President Emerson Mnangagwa to fire Finance Minister Mtuli Ngube within 7 days or face crippling protests by members of the association. In a letter dated March 16, delivered at Mnangagwa's Munumutapa offices in Harare on Monday, the ARTES president, Obed Masaraure, said Ngube had failed to rescue the country from the deepening economic crisis, hence the need to relieve him of his duties. Part of the letter read, while there are many causes to the economic meltdown facing the country, which among others is rampant corruption, Ngube's ministry is of critical national importance and as such requires a competent person who can steer it to turn around our economic fortunes. Personally, I feel like I've got mixed emotions there.
Mixed emotions.
I've mixed because how long has it been? And I promise you, there's a point in time where I used to see him every day on TV. I really thought that by now we would be headed somewhere, but I mean, there was a headline yesterday that says annual inflation has skyrocketed to 540%. So clearly right now Zimbabwe is an economical blizzard, so to speak. So I don't know, personally, okay, first it was the doctors, now it's the teachers, but I'm really wondering, how successful will they be in, throwing this ultimatum towards our president?
Well, I think success, I don't know. I'm not going to really go in that one. But then just the fact that they're able to stand up to what they believe in and show them that if you don't do this, we are going to do this. They feel that they're taking a little bit of power and trying to show them that we also can do something if certain things are not fixed, if certain things are not done in our way also.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just hoping the teachers won't be a toothless bulldog.
Yes, we hope so.
Because
we're all hoping for change. So if they want something done, then we should support.
I'll just leave this to the public. Will firing Mtuli only be? Well, go ahead.
I think it's going to be a 1 cent. It's way less than I think it's going to be a 1 cent. I think we only have got 2 culprits here. Obet is a big culprit. Mtuli Ngube is a major culprit. These guys, they specialize in being culprits. So when you get 2 culprits together, get ready for a showdown. Because they've always had interesting interests. And Obed Masara, this guy, can I say it the way I want to say it?
Go ahead,
okay,
please.
we are on TV. Obed Masara. Okay, we are looking forward to this interesting time. You marched from Mutare, and there's always something new and energetic from Obed. And Mtuli Ngube, does he, I'm just asking, does he know? I'm just asking, this is a general question. Does he know when to quit, if he should quit? I'm saying, does he have a yardstick to say, okay, you know what, if I've done A, B, and C, I think I've made it. But if I do minus A and minus B and minus C, I think I have failed. And I'm just asking out of interest. Come to think of it, today the ministers are having a Saturday conference at Rainbow. I think after this we're going to catch up with them.
All right.
And then I need to ask Mutuli, does he know when he has failed and does he know when he's been successful? And if he agrees he has failed, does he know what there needs to be done? Can he do the honorable thing? So I think look out for this in the next hour or so. I'll be very much excited to have this conversation with the minister.
Definitely.
That's what I'll just end with.
I think we're just going to end it there. I'm not going to take it any further.
Yes. And in other news, 2 coronavirus suspects test negative. 2 travelers who were in isolation at Wilkins Infection Disease Hospital in Harare over suspicions of having the coronavirus have tested negative. This comes as President Emerson Mnangagwa yesterday declared the deadly virus a national emergency while suspending social gatherings of more than 100 people to mitigate the spread of the virus, which has killed over 7,000 people across the globe.
But how is this a headline? How do you have a headline that says 2 coronavirus suspects test negative? When we have more than 20 coronavirus suspects, we officially have tested negative. No, I'm just asking what goes behind your head when you come up with a story that says 2 coronavirus suspects test negative. Okay. What did you give us when we had the other 8 and we had the toll a few days back and we were told nine suspects also tested negative. So why is it a story that 2 more tested negative? I'm just asking. There are no offense to the journalist or the paper that allowed this paper to run off the day to say 2. It's not a story. Let's agree.
Yes,
Unless the story is telling us something else, that 2 corona suspects have been tested negative in brackets. For me, I would have, if I was editor of this newspaper, I would have put my negative in brackets because it looks like everyone here in Zimbabwe is testing negative and no one is testing positive. But
so why are we talking about it?
Let me tell you how it works when you do corona testing.
True.
If you are tested in Zimbabwe, in fact, I think we've come up with a theory. If you want to test negative on coronavirus, come to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. When you fly our borders, right? Yes. You can then test positive.
And we can
so all those
on paper.
If you come with your coronavirus,
we'll cure everyone on
paper. And once you leave Zimbabwean borders, you'll be positive. So if you want to leave corona negative, I think that's a way of curing corona, don't you think?
Come on, you're coming to the land of milk and honey. What coronavirus can you find in such a country?
As soon as you leave our borders, trust me, you test positive. I'll take this on.
There you are. Well, we've also got today in the Southern Eye, Bulawayo eateries face closure over coronavirus. Bulawayo City Council Health Department says it is considering shutting down some fast food outlets which have sprouted around the city to prevent the spread of communicable diseases such as diarrhea and coronavirus. Diarrheal disease cases went up to 473 in January alone, from 359 cases recorded between July and September 2019. The Bulawayo Progressive Residents Association chairperson Ambrose Sibindi said it was mandatory that the council enforces the sanitizers on food outlets to prevent a coronavirus outbreak. One of the precautions to curb the spread of coronavirus is to wash hands regularly for about 20 seconds. So it should be mandatory for council to enforce all food outlets to have sanitizers.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Like if you wash your hands for 20 seconds, you will not have coronavirus.
Regularly.
I know, guys. Seriously, they have to be make 20 seconds. Like, on a serious note. No, I'm just asking. Why do you have to have time to say 20 seconds?
The only
these are authorities saying that at least wash for 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Why?
To be thorough, maybe.
Like 20 seconds.
I'm washing my hands, which means I can't wash my hands with sanitizer, can I?
So if you wash your hands with sanitizer and whatever sanitizing.
But then if I go for 20 seconds, it's literally going to finish the bottle.
That's all I do. Why 20 seconds?
Exactly.
I'm saying, why are you giving us? It's like the scientific way. Somebody says, let's make it 20 seconds.
20
say
seconds.
It couldn't be. It had to be 20 seconds.
Why? Well, I mean, we enjoy making these scientific proclamations that cannot be substituted by nothing.
Exactly.
20 seconds and you shall not have coronavirus. I think that's why we're giving ourselves
20
60
seconds
days.
and you shall not have.
We are going to be closing everything, and in the next 60 days they shall not. Did you hear that yesterday?
Yeah.
Cabinet officially gave us 60 days. In 6 days, Zimbabweans, we shall not be having coronavirus. Only if you wash your hands for 20 seconds. Back to you.
Our next headline, Harare bans land sales through cooperatives. Harare City Council, HCC, has revealed its housing policy and immediately banned the selling of land through housing cooperatives following an upsurge of illicit housing deals, with the land barons being at the center stage. According to the city fathers, the reviewed housing policy restores the city's authority to service and restrict residents from dealing with middlemen or housing cooperatives management committees.
So on the sheet, about cooperatives nemisangano.
Achedezo.
Simbaza kutengeso state nikanza.
No, wait.
Is that good?
Sorry, there's something. I feel like there's something that's blocking your throat. You're waiting. You really want to say something. So out with it. Let's hear it.
But you know what? At times if you talk too much, you can ban your hands. At times you just, I get into that corner where I say, okay, all right, fine, but yeah, you can see what I'm doing to my, I don't want to bend them.
You're trying so hard.
I'm just trying not to bend them, but okay, I both. For now. But can you talk about flower eateries? We'll be done with flower eateries because I feel like going back to at least I won't bend my hands there.
Yes.
Why is it Blawayo? And it's no offense to anyone who's staying in Blawayo, but have you seen that the biggest business that you can ever do in Blawayo? That's just me, right? We eat a lot and we party a lot. If I would suggest, no offense, and this is a very honest suggestion. You know that Victoria Falls, the tour of this country, the town, sorry. Blawayo can be like a fun town and eating town. I'm just suggesting that that we're expecting fun and eating. Because almost every street in Blawayo you get to eat.
Yes.
No matter how full you are, somebody else is eating in Blawayo. I've seen that's like the biggest business in Blawayo. People get to eat there. Then after you get to eat, you can also get to attend a 50 church member. It all depends with the preference, whichever way that goes with you. But
So you're saying we should just change Blawayo to Blawayo eat a lot?
yeah.
After that party, maybe coronavirus will, There's that. I mean, now it's a big hazard as well. Just getting into, but okay. I'm not going to burn my hands. Thank you very much.
Back to you.
All right, we've got the NGO seeks to empower Mashingo Girl Child. A Mashingo voluntary organization, Rugare Community Relief Service, has launched an initiative to empower and address the needs and challenges faced by the girl child, such as abuse and discrimination. Through the Seen, Heard and Empowered initiative, RUCOS will give young women the platform to express themselves without fear of judgment and harm. Young women in Masvingo province encounter challenges every day, especially those in rural settings. Apart from sharing the community struggles over limited resources like water, land or jobs, many systematically face discrimination by virtue of being female. I suppose on a lighter note, this is very good news. We've been talking about
gender equality.
Yes, we've already got, girl power over here.
Yeah, girl power.
How much we are girl power and gender equality. But why is it gender equality? Sorry to digress. I'll get you back to comment. Why is it gender equality and gender, the word gender? Do you know the word gender doesn't mean girl? If you open up any dictionary.
True.
But if you open up any dictionary, the word gender today now means girl. Gender equality, girl.
Because we were the
Gender means male or female. But why is it anything to do with gender now means girl? Like, what did you do to the word, you girls?
No, it's not us.
Yeah, it's
I think it's just because before, boys were privileged.
Boys were boys.
Yes, they were boys,
And
and they
boys
could
were
go
boys.
to school, and girls could not,
Yeah.
and things like that. So now when they're saying gender equality, they just want to say that everyone should be the same, whether you are a female or you're male, you should just be equal. So no more
Power to the
privileges.
people.
We also get the privileges, girl power.
The only problem with us females, really, okay, no offense to us, the girls, but there's gender equality.
Finally,
Yes.
Can I lean
Yes, you leave more.
Yes.
There's always gender equality until we walk into a restaurant and I order food that I cannot even pay for myself.
Let's talk about
That's
that.
where gender equality
Gender
lands.
equality.
Chivalry, okay. That is
When you
chivalry.
order food so
And it's
much
still-
that you can't even pay.
No,
Where
but
is gender equality there?
I don't know what. I do not
Can you
know.
raise the tab all the way through, like pay the bill?
Can I
You know.
speak, please?
Okay,
Buy your own fuel.
Can I speak, please?
Yeah,
Speak.
yeah.
I don't know what dates you
And
guys
buy your
go
own airtime
on.
as well.
Yes, females do
Buy
that.
your airtime, please.
Yes, I can.
Are you buying your airtime?
Absolutely.
Did you request him to do it today?
Him who?
Him.
There's no him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so if he was there,
No, I would not.
There's
I
an
would
announcement
not.
to make at the end of this show. Let's go back to this issue. There's going to be a very special announcement to make, ladies and gentlemen. She said there's no him. Also, you said, let me take you back to what we're discussing. Yeah. So, okay, she's now stuck up. I'll shift back to you.
I feel like if your mom can't do it for you, if your dad can't do it for you, if you can't do it for yourself, then stay at home.
Stay
Why are you trying to take him to a restaurant you can't even pay for yourself?
But
Let's
it's not
go
only
for gender
females,
equality
though.
there.
They're
Oh, now
also
I know the
males.
men are
Yes.
there.
Yes, they're both out there.
At this moment in time, I wish I could take the guys in the screen. I'm sure they all know what happened the other time when we went to Blawa. And they all know the other time when there was a restaurant. And they all know the other time when there were food on the table. You know, so I wish the guys behind the scenes could come in the scenes and you get this conversation and you get to talk about this together. But yeah, I agree with you. So for the purposes of staying clean on
And
TV,
not with me.
No,
not
but you know she's right. I'm neutral. She's also right. Now we've got the men that have suddenly turned into women. They want to stay at home, or they want you to pick them up. They want you to pay.
So when a man stays home,
reversal of
when a man
roles.
stays home, he's being female, and when a female stays home,
The old female. The old female, because there's a new
I think it's
version
becoming
now.
controversial. Let's just leave it.
Moving
Let's
on.
just leave it.
Shall we?
I
Do you
think
have?
we should start a gender show. What do you think?
That could be fun.
Since
I
we've
bet.
got 2 against 1, or should I say 1 and a
No,
half against 1?
1.5. No, it just means that for the gender show, I'll be sitting in the middle because
Okay.
clearly I
People,
no
I
side.
am on both sides, okay? It's just that no one was supporting the females, so, but you know,
Somebody else
I'm
says
neutral.
something.
Yes,
Okay.
someone has to say something.
All right, great. Back to you.
And we also have the Binga chief fined $600 for kidnapping and insulting a subject. Binga traditional leader Chief Sikalenge born Bayela Charles Chuma, 67, has been fined $600 by a Wange magistrate after he kidnapped and unlawfully detained a young man he accused of impregnating his daughter. Chief Sikalenge, who also criminally insulted the teenager's father, pleaded not guilty to the charges when he appeared before Magistrate Sheila Nazombe. On Friday, the magistrate convicted and ordered the chief to pay $600 fine with an option of 3 months in jail if he failed to pay.
Okay.
This is our just...
Okay, no, you can shoot because I usually shoot from the wrong angle.
From the wrong angle.
I usually shoot from the wrong angle and I usually shoot on the wrong part of the subject. So yeah.
I feel like I might enjoy this, so I'm literally going to give you the floor, then I'll comment on it.
But the last time I checked, traditionally, right, according to our laws and according to our customs, I don't know where this went wrong. You cannot have a chief on a being tried by a magistrate. You understand what I'm saying? You see, our laws, they say that the magistrate and the chief has got enough or equal powers. You know, it's why it brings back memories of the Ndiweni case. You know, whereby traditionally and also according legally, you cannot then try a chief because a chief has a certain jurisdiction above our laws magistrate, unless if it's a case that needs to be heard by a higher court, which is on the magistrate. So I think that's very, very ironic. And number 2, so let's look at the case, the subject of the case.
I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, but this is kidnapping.
Yeah.
Should people not then be protected?
Not they should be protected, but unless if probably maybe a higher court have heard the case. That's me. I'm just speaking of jurisdictions to say by law, unless if I need probably go back and read a little bit of more law. Those are almost same equal court sitting over the issue. But let's speak about the matter here so that we don't digress. Kidnapping. So a chief kidnaps technically a son-in-law.
Yeah.
Right. So chief Akatora Mkwash.
Paid daddy. You don't know if he paid or not. He probably didn't pay.
Yeah. So okay, fine. This is very controversial. So you get to impregnate my daughter. Okay. Can I just weigh his head? I'll be the chief for the next few seconds.
Okay.
And you be my daughter.
All
since
right.
you're the one who doesn't have somebody. So for now, let me just keep with this guy. So finally, my daughter gets somebody. I'll come back to my daughter soon. Finally, my daughter gets somebody, and then she gets pregnant, right? So traditionally, here's how Africans deal with the matters. You take the daughter, you send them away to the husband, right? And correct. But now here goes this chief. He kidnaps the guy and puts him in his house. What a controversial chief is. Who does that? Like, honestly speaking, and it's unheard of. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
You're supposed to take your daughter and then you officially surrender to the man. That's how chiefs and that's how traditional laws have been applied for the past, I don't know, years. But this chief changes everything. Okay, so you come home. So now my question is, so
It wasn't even you come home. Let me
Let's
tell
tell you.
Let me bring you.
So I want to know. No price for guessing here. So where was this son who was kidnapped sleeping, and where was the daughter sleeping after the kidnapping?
That is
Complete
true.
the puzzle. I'll give it back to you guys. Where was the kidnapped son sleeping and the daughter, the impregnated daughter sleeping during the kidnapping? I'm just wondering. I get creative. Please don't get too creative.
And I should
Just
add.
been-
May I?
yeah.
If I were the
In
boy.
this case, you are.
Okay, I'm the boy.
Oh, you're not the boy.
I'm now the boy.
You're no longer the girl.
And I've been kidnapped.
Okay.
I don't think I would want to see you after your father kidnaps me.
I would be living my best life. Free accommodation. What? Free food.
You think they will
been-
see you?
You have been brought to the girl that you have
I
always wanted and you
doubt
have
he
already
will
pregnant.
use you.
Why would I be
Not
bothered?
But you're in the same house. You've been kidnapped to the same place that the chief stayed.
Yes,
in.
and
Just-
you think he will give you the luxury of living life
Why
after
would I
what you
kidnap
have
you?
done.
I
He
don't-
kidnaps you, and you think hostages are given 5.
Hostages.
Miss-
Do you hear yourself? You sound like you're watching an American movie. Hostages kidnapped. Oh my gosh, no. Literally, I can go in this kwakumba.
How do you know?
Against his will.
Against his will. Oh, we know those are great.
Yes. You wouldn't have reported, or
Yeah.
this maybe wouldn't have come out. I don't know.
I don't know
It
it. Simple. But
I think akazonoti.
it's called kidnapping
Yes,
in English.
yes.
Let's just be frank.
I think he just thought of the fact that ndinda kutonoitiswa muroora apa ndinda kuwacha nekusuka akati kidnapping.
That's it. Back to you.
Yes, in other news, Chombo removed from remand. Former local government minister Ignatius Chombo was yesterday removed from remand in a case he is accused of illegally facilitating the sale of a government house in Mutare to ex-ZANU-PF legislator Fred Kadama. This comes after the state failed to secure a requisite policy document. Chombo, who is jointly charged with former valuations and estate management director Lazarus Chimba, appeared before Harare Regional Magistrate House, Hosea Mujaya, who ordered the state to proceed by way of summons.
Should you say finally Chombo is out? He's removed from remand. Chombo is a free man, and you know it reads like a book, right? So they free, they catch, they release, they free, they catch. Like it's a fish pond. You catch it out, you put it in a pot. Then when it's about to die, you put it back in the water. When it's having a lot of fun, then you catch it back. You catch, you release, you put in a pond. You know, somebody's very good at writing these scripts. I'm just saying, somebody's very good at catch, release, free a little bit, catch. Have you ever done fishing?
Yes.
I'll take you guys for fishing. You know, fishing is very nice. You know
I
what
would
you do?
love to
If you're
go.
fishing for fun, here's what you do. You catch the largest fish, right? Then everyone says, wow, nice. Then you take pictures, right? So if you're doing fishing, like professional fishing, right, you don't get to eat the fish. Guess what? After pictures and everything else, you get to release the fish and then give it another try. Then the fish goes away. Then you have to look for another fish. So yeah, it's just catch and you release. You understand? You understand? You do, you catch, and then you
Put it back.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not over till it's over. So literally, we're just gonna go with the same cycle.
I think they've just
Over
gone
and
fishing.
over.
Yes, now they've gone
And
fishing.
we're not going to eat the fish.
Over to you.
And lastly from me today, I've got a headline from the Herald that says 9 airlines in race to lease AirZim B777s. 9 airlines have shown interest in leasing Air Zimbabwe's 2 long-haul Boeing 77s and 200ERs acquired from Malaysia in a deal expected to generate up to $400,000 a month. Ethiopian Airlines is understood to be leading the pack in lease negotiations, and Air Zimbabwe's Assistant Administrator, Mr. Tonderai Mukuvu of Grant Thornton, said yesterday in an interview with the Herald that leasing the planes and using the revenue to acquire smaller aircrafts to re-establish strong domestic and regional services made more sense at the moment than rushing to establish international routes that are expensive to develop. Lastly, he also said the lease revenue would also allow Air Zimbabwe to sort out its financial debts. Now, we know that Air Zimbabwe has been in recent scandals in the past, so to speak, in a lighter way, I suppose. But hopefully this is one good thing for them, a ray of hope, I suppose. Not knowing if all that money will actually go towards the debts or... But I'll just end there. I don't want to be quoted out of...
And also understanding how this is going to benefit us. I think as a nation, as far as our transporting and our transport and our air system is concerned. But for me, I think the biggest challenge that we are not addressing, the reason why most planes are avoiding Zimbabwean routes, it's not because Zimbabwe is one of the best destinations to be, but it's because of the repatriation of the funds. So if I'm going to be flying from Zimbabwe to Joburg, or Zimbabwe to South Africa, to China, after coronavirus, or Zimbabwe to whatever country, right? That means legally I'm supposed to be paying that fare using what? RTGS for notes, right? So how does the airline then benefit? So the question has been around repatriation and how best these companies are going to be able to collect their money. So that's why you now see that we've got this funny policy discord whereby you are now allowed or exempted to pay in foreign currency because it's a flight and because it's an international thing. But when I'm bringing in my international commodities, I'm not supposed to pay or charge them in foreign currency. Am I digressing? Am I still within the I'm just wondering.
It's just that it's the main problem you highlighted.
Yeah.
Highlights the other problems.
Exactly.
And the other problems highlights the other problem.
Which is the bigger problem, yeah.
So at the end of the day, we've got main issues that need to be addressed that aren't really being focused on. But we'll see where it goes and how far it goes at the end of the day.
Yes. And our last story for today. Former Zimbabwe National Road Administration, ZINARA, Chief Executive Frank Chitukutuku will lose a total of 6 houses, a fleet of vehicles, and several companies, including an insurance company. If the civil courts agree with the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA, that he and his wife probably acquired this large block of assets using proceeds of corruption. The assets have been proven on a balance of probabilities to a tainted and liable for forfeiture, according to the NPA application filed at the High Court yesterday, seeking to recover movable and immovable properties. So here we have housing problems again, corruption again.
And it keeps dodging us each and every time.
And it keeps happening.
We are always there, and our fingers are always caught in there.
But we know this.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I just feel like in a month, I really don't want Zimbabwe to be called the 3 C's. This is where it's coming from.
Okay.
Corona, corruption, currency. Some of the main problems facing Zimbabwe right now.
Corona.
So
we don't
corruption,
Okay.
currency.
Did you just think about this? Or
I did. It literally just, as she was going corruption, I was like, wow, the 3 C's. Look at that.
We come from a generation where the 3 C's only meant cash, cell phone, and cars. Because we were like the first generation to have a cell phone. We were the first generation to have a car, hopefully, and we're the first generation to actually have cash, because ours was like, you know that $5 and getting it's $10 there.
Yes.
In $2 and getting a fish.
Yetenga.
You don't even know about this.
We don't. I literally don't know anything. All I know is my
yeah.
mom used to tell me she would buy a lot.
Oh yes, definitely. Your mom
But
used to buy a lot.
now I buy a lollipop.
Me and your mom we used to buy a lot during our days, because we are from the same.
I don't know if I should be worried, but okay.
Okay, so I'll close down this one quickly with news coming from our tech side from Technomec. I think I'll give you a rundown of just nothing much but the headlines. Net1 announces new data tariffs. I think this is an update as far as the state-owned mobile network operator and all other telecommunications operators are concerned. POTRAS, the Postal Telecommunication Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, has approved 48% up in data and also 56% up as far as voice communication tariffs are concerned. So we're going to be seeing an upsurge as far as data tariffs are concerned. What we're going to be seeing in the next few days is all mobile networks, literally Econet, Net1 and Teles are going to be giving a quick sharp rise in their new tariffs billings, because they've been officially allowed to increase all their tariffs. So yes, if you see them now increasing their tariffs, it's because they've been given a go-ahead. And I think one of the reasons why POTRAS said is giving a go-ahead as far as the price adjustment is concerned is mainly because, number one, they want to make sure that they sustain and they help out all the mobile network operators so that they cut and their backs are covered as far as operational issues are concerned. They've been having serious OPEX or operational costs as far as the business is concerned. I think one of the issues as well that these operators are also worried about is an issue of them making sure that each and every single operator in Zimbabwe also manages to get more revenue and increase their revenue. But of course, we all know what's happening. Many subscribers are complaining. There's an outcry as far as the sector is concerned to say, you keep increasing these tariffs, but Zimbabweans, they are not getting the same increase as far as salary remuneration, even business as well. So there's an outcry from consumers to say, well, if there's going to be a 56% increase and a 48% increase in the tariffs, we are not seeing the same increase, specifically more when you speak from civil servants and other employees and employers are not increasing salaries in tandem with these tariffs. So the outcry has been coming out to say, well, we need to also see a certain increment that goes along the same inflationary pressures that we're having in Zimbabwe. So I think that has been a topical issue that we have on our technology news website, that is www.technomec.co.zw. Was I speaking so fast? I managed to slow it down at the end.
The good thing is it all came out.
It all came out.
I mean, I heard what you were saying.
I tend to speak a little bit too fast when I speak about technology, because I was taught technology with something to do with speed, efficiency, the lightnings and everything. So
now are you moving
Now
at
here's
5G?
the-
Are you moving at 5G now?
Speed is meaning 5G. Oh, speaking of 5G, did you hear that some people are alleging that 5G is causing coronavirus? Did you hear this?
Yes,
No, do you know what? I'm just done with Corona. Corona. I like the way South Africans say it. Corona. Corona. I've been hearing it every day. Now I'm done. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
Okay,
that.
so that was my last story. I'm sure you also had your last story as far as news is concerned. And she had the last story. So now let's get into the main story. She said there is nobody. Can you talk about that? I have not yet forgotten about this. This is one interesting area as we shut down this very long and exciting interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have a strong auction right there. 1,000 every bid, 1,000, 1,000 every bid, 2,000 every bid. Do you ever take
For 1,000?
3,000 every bid.
We've got to take it. No. Wait, so how much do you want to go for then? How much?
Where should we start from?
You want to put a value on me.
Come on, honey. Someone is paying your bride price very soon. So tell us.
Absolutely not. No.
Wait, no, I caught something from that though.
Yeah.
Something very important. To the potential suitor, guess what? There's no value on her, hey?
Okay.
So literally, you can go to her house, you can get her, take her back, take her. That's it. No Rora, no Rora, nothing.
Kidnap you. The way that chick kidnapped.
You see, so there is a price tag. You just don't want to tell us, but it's okay.
It's not too high.
Please be worried about
It's too high. It says, I will kidnap you. Definitely. I'm willing to pay time for that.
Thank you so much, all our viewers who are watching us live on Facebook. We are techmec.tv on Facebook. We are techmec.tv on Twitter. We are techmec.tv on YouTube. It's been a pleasure and a lot of fun to have you guys watching us live. My name is Tonio, and it remains Tonio. On my left and on my right side, these pretty ladies will introduce themselves before we quickly just cut it out.
My name is Raquel Kambasha. See you tomorrow on the Morning News.
And I am Chikondi Mandala. Thanks so much for joining us.
And if you are watching this, please remember to hit the like button. Yeah, I mean that one in the corner. That, yeah, like and subscribe. Which one do you just hit that button, subscribe? Yes, finally, good. Yeah, subscribe button. That's it. So that you don't miss the next notifications the next time we are live. Thank you so much for your time. For me, it is a child.